Welcome back. Now let's discuss serious politicking. As you know, political rallies have become a regular feature in elections across the world. And Nigeria, of course, is no exception. As the country prepares for the upcoming general elections, candidates of various political parties are busy holding campaign rallies across the country and attracting huge crowds at this rally. Now, from theme songs to stump speeches and even negative campaigning, politicians are known to deploy different campaign strategies now in a bid to sway eligible voters. Now, a candidate's every word, action, and even their perceived thoughts are displayed and of course, observed by members of the public, especially those who attend these rallies. One thing, though, is setting. Organizing these rallies are quite expensive, especially in Nigeria, where most times money is used to mobilize people to attend the rallies. And most times, of course, the candidates themselves only have just about 5 minutes to address the people, the crowd now at this rally. So the question is, do these rallies actually make any impact during elections, or they are more of a show of force? Let's discuss this some more. Joining me now, I have political affairs analyst Aki Fatunke, and I also have Dr. Kachon Onujuna, who is a political affairs analyst and, of course, a chieftain of the Labour Party. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the program. Let me start with you, Dr. Kach. Dr. Onujuna, I should say. Now, you look at these campaign rallies going on. You look at the crowds that attend these campaign rallies. You look at, especially the front runners in the presidential election. They keep attracting huge crowds at their rallies. The same state, they attract huge crowds. Sometimes you just find it difficult to tell the difference between the crowds of one party and the other. You get the impression that it's still the same group of people who attend one rally that actually attend the other and so forth. So do these rallies actually make any difference?
Yes. What you are describing, as I said, you're describing the current changes in our country. Our country used to do the old analog system of renting the same crowd within the same town, throwing the same rhetorics to them. But that is changing now. With the availability of social media, people are now doing what they call crowdfundings, as we're beginning now to see, organizing themselves. So yes, organizing themselves, communicating with each other after crowdfunding is new. Social media is also new to bring the news from far and wide to everybody instantly. Now, but it does not kill the old traditional methods of staging military kind of big rallies, big parades, you know, the military marches. These are the things of the past. It's not the same in other places where you have democracy.
Yes, and that's why I'm asking. These big rallies we see, and they're happening today, even though they're, as you said, traditional, but they're still happening. So these big rallies we see around the country today, do they make any difference at all in the actual election?
No, no. The big rallies only serve to sway emotions. For those who have not yet made up their minds, some of the big rallies can tell them or how to vote.
We appear to be losing you, Dr. Onujuna. We appear to be losing you. We can so while we try to figure out what the problem is, let me come to you, Mr. Fatunke. Give me your take on these huge rallies we see across the country.
Very, very interesting. There are two schools of thoughts. There is the school of thought, which is the received theoretical 2 + 2 = 4 kind of situation.
Okay.
And of course, there is this other school of thought that says 2 + 2 may be 5 because we are looking at it from a binary system. Practically speaking, I do not think, I may not necessarily agree with the import of my thoughts here, but I do not think that those crowds and those rallies are not making impact. I will draw a parallel. We all have, for instance, our religiosity. And when people just say, hey, wait a minute, you're going to see a Father Christmas or a Mother Islam somewhere or a Juju man somewhere, and everybody just swoops out to go make a lot of noise because poverty, joblessness has been the order of the day. And so on a little pot of pottage, come on, let's go say it. Religious perspective. The other perspective, of course, Mr. Bademosi and Nigerians listening to me, who also know that when it comes to the big thing, the big noise, the big boys, the big young boys that can pull crowds, where you can just go out there and go and shake here and there, they also draw crowds. Some, you will be surprised, borrow money from somebody else to just go see. I want to see Buhari. Oh, I want to see Atiku Abubakar. Oh, I want to see my dear friend and brother Peter Obi. I want to see Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I want to see Kwankwaso. I want to see the other 18 because as far as we are concerned, we don't know a lot of them. So once they come and see American wonders. Now, one of them happens. The era of money politics is such that people are taking promissory notes. I repeat myself, people are taking promissory notes. Once you are able to go in there, we know what constituency you belong to. You know what's going to happen? We're going to give you water, we are going to give you lights, we are going to send your children to school. We know some of your people have been captured. We are going to try and find a way of bringing them back. Therefore, my posit is simple. Where you have not worked, where you have not applied yourself intelligibly to even understand the basics, what you just have is a big thing. So you go in there, you bring big bands, that's the time you are going to see some of the big bands, and you're going to shout here, you are going to shout there. Now, Catch was trying to make a point of now shifting to the social media. Absolutely no doubt about that. But the social media is not just now. The social media has been with us, plus or minus, effectively in Nigeria in the last 10 years. This time around, what you find is the same crowd going to see a Father Christmas yesterday. Another Father Christmas has come today. Another Father Christmas is going to come tomorrow. Let's just go out there and go and touch a lot, go and make a lot of noise.
Can I just ask a question?
Do you think 70%
these crowds we see at these rallies, do you think they could, you could use that to measure the strength of these political parties in some of these places where these rallies are held?
It cannot be, by mind. So if a rally is held in a zone A, it's the same people, unless if we are impugning that people are transported from one other zone to the same place, which I know is possible. But in this day, especially in this day and age of we wanted to go cashless, no money to spend, promissory notes, it's almost very, very, very difficult. Those crowds are there to vent. Those crowds are there. They already made up their minds. Come or don't come. They already made up their minds because the emirs, the obas, the KBSs, the religious leaders have told them the area that they should go. So just go and see the American wonders. Kachi spoke very intelligibly about the fact that we may have undecided voters. Undecided voters are going to be swayed, not from those crowds that you are seeing there.
Okay.
From opinion molders.
The point is, Mr. Fatuke, the point is, knowing that these rallies, these big rallies we see don't really make much of a difference in elections. Why do you think the political parties keep spending big on them?
Oh, yes. You remember Voltaire, the French philosopher, who told you, I come here in the morning, you hailing me, By the time I come in the evening, the same set of people will come and say, pull him down. Just go ahead and pull him down. I think the political parties are just merely trying to, try to, put across his point that maybe they are undecided voters. Maybe they know some of the things they are going to see there. And I can tell you, in the remote areas, they still believe when they come for these rallies, they are still going to get some kind of freebies or some handouts. Now, when they don't get those freebies and handouts, when a Peter Obi comes around and they hear say an Atiku is going to come, hope spring eternal. Well, if Peter Obi is not going to do it, well, an Atiku will plug the gap. And if Atiku does not do it, Jagaban will come and plug the gap. Now, when all that now happens and nothing much has come to them, they now then depend on what you call promissory notes. Those promissory notes are the notes that are given to them by way of some brainwash. Okay, it's a Muslim, it's a Christian, or it's from this particular tribe, or it's not from that particular tribe, it's a thief, it's all that. That is the area I think that you need to go. I did a bit of a forensic in asking a few questions. And I say, okay, this particular person that you say is your Alpha and Omega, how much of him do you know?
Yeah.
And I got to listen to the fact that sometimes it's not what they say, but the ability to be able to dance, dance Chris Daniel and the rest. They can know. So these people can dance. Oh my God. We are going to be seeing some of these bands that ordinarily we will never have been able to see in our lives. So let them begin to make such big noise. We just want to hear the noise. Arising from there may just be maybe 1% or 2% of likely undecided voters. But the rest are already made up their minds that this is the area that they are going to go. Unless if the opinion molders now come and say, yes, I told you, you should have gone right. Now I'm telling you, you should go left. That is what matters. It's just for the entertainment value, if you ask me.
And of course, we can't deny the fact that somehow it has some kind of economic value as well, especially when you consider the business now that can be done when such rallies are held. I mean, people who sell, say, sachet water, for instance, people who sell different, things around these rallies. I mean, it generates some kind of income for a lot of people. But then it's just a surprise that these political parties keep spending big on these rallies.
To call it in economics, naturally, and Mr. Bademos, you don't also forget that it also draws the other side. Hoodlums, people will pick your pockets.
Yeah.
People will make sure that you want to cry before you leave the place, and then not to talk about stampede. Don't forget, and let me delineate this point. Rallies and campaigns is recognized in our electoral acts as saying, go see the people. So it's a way of saying, well, I've been to you. I know plus or minus. If I put all my cards on the table, I have been able to tick 3 or 4 of a box of 8. Now you see me, even though after these rallies you may never see me again, or at least you have an opportunity that you have seen Mr. A, Mrs. B, Mr. C, Ms. D, and all that kind of stuff. I think it's basically just to try and tick the boxes. It's also a way of showing off in areas that these politicians know they have more bit of influence to now drive down these leg merchants. Go out there, go talk to your wife, go talk to her, and somebody now then comes, so I saw Mr. A, Mr. B. Don't sit down at all. They say to us that this is the way we should go. Please, that's the way I am going to go. They come back home and do some of those dance steps that you see that some of the presidential candidates do. And then the wives of those who cannot walk and all that kind of, we just begin to smile. Poverty upon poverty, ignorance upon ignorance does not take us nearer any way or any move.
Okay, let me just pause you. Let me pause you there because let me pause you there because we have Dr. Nonuju who is back. Dr. Nonuju, sorry there was a problem with your audio, but you were making some kind of point to me about these political rallies and that they actually don't make any difference at all in the actual voting itself. So the question is, why then do these political parties spend big on these rallies? I mean, especially when we know the rallies actually don't make much of a difference during elections.
There is a lot of things we do not know. We never used to poll data. We never also had candidates speak directly to the people. It was always using proxies and surrogates to speak. This was the first election in which the candidate kept speaking to the people, kept talking to the people. By the time the official period for elections were on, he had already made that communication. So he changed the dynamics. So in issues of how also to get the people, either through campaigns or through other systems, you can be rest assured our country is changing. You can see how politicians are panicking. Despite the monies, the structures, the affinity to those in power, the people who were reached from data after data, from polling company after polling company, had the results. So we're beginning now to use data. We will, with time, find out what works, what doesn't work, and be able to follow those things that work.
So are you saying a time will come when these rallies will just become useless and in
it
fact
will become a thing of the past. The rallies in Nigeria are not the same as the rallies elsewhere. Yet, all we have everywhere is democracy. What you had was the army organized show. You go hire the people because of poverty. And then after you use them, another party can come the next week, hire the same set of people, use them to present pictures. So what the Labour Party has done was to say no. They organically instigated crowd that crowdfunded themselves should now bring themselves to the rallies.
Well, we're actually not talking about the Labour Party here because we do not know for sure that all the crowds. I mean, the crowds you have at these rallies are organic in the sense that they funded themselves and all of that. Because I know for sure, as a journalist, I cover some of these rallies too, and I know for sure that some of these rallies are, people are mobilized. That's just the truth. People are mobilized. But what my question is, if these rallies do not make much of a difference, I'm just wondering why politicians spend big on them. Because whether we like it or not, if you do the mathematics, the cost of organizing these rallies, the cost is quite high, and it adds to this making elections expensive in this country.
No. You can do rally if you wish. Kwankwaso has chosen not to do rally. Nobody has arrested him.
No, but he's doing rallies.
He's doing rallies. Good. Mr. Peter Obi wasn't doing rally. He was talking.
But he's doing rallies now.
The movement embraced him. There are other traditional parties that rely on the old method of rallies. But I believe going forward, we will start looking at data and to be able to apply what works, and in that same state, abandon what doesn't work. I see a change in society, and I will beg you to please be patient. As we learn what works, we will do more of that. As we see the things that don't work, maybe sometimes you could allow them just for the nostalgic effects of the masquerade being seen, just to show the size of the masquerade, to also boost the amount of crowd size you can mobilize. It is good we're having this discussion, but you should understand society will change. I have seen mobilizations plus the idea of bring your own organized crowd. When you bring that organized crowd, that you go through crowdfunding, you become a member of what we are doing.
Done.
Instead of the other system of ownership of political structures, I think is now changing. That's what we're seeing. And that's why, as you're trying to state, the rallies in the old forms may not be sustainable. Let's watch. We are watching.
Okay. Mr. Faruq, I'll let you have the last word. Do you think a time will come when these rallies will just disappear?
Of course, society naturally changes. Education and enlightenment naturally should change. I haven't seen that movement in our educational system that has changed our paradigm. Go look at the statistics. And that is where I slightly disagree with Kachi. Yes, at the end of the day, the substance, whatever it is that you want, is not going to come out from there. But that is where you go to go and get some kind of raw materials, feel heat. People still run into camps and religious grounds after they get the prayers. They have not done the things that they need to do to get the value of those prayers, so they get nothing. The following day, they'll still go, hoping against hope. So all political parties, especially the front runners, have realized this as a strategy. Just go out there, let's go for show. Let's go jump up and down. Let's go feel free. Let's go feel high. Try to be high. And that from there, one thing may lead to another, not necessarily things that are going to lift us forward. They are not interested, like Professor Lumumba said, they are not interested in all your big grammar about bringing education here and there. What you have for us in the stomach. And these political parties, without exception, realize that that is a game plan. And it's the reason why they are doing it. Let's go do it. Yeah, at the end of the day, when I get the prize, and I can have a very nice, fine change of scene, I can now then begin to look at things that will matter to their lives. I'll begin to look at security, I'll begin to look at education, I'll begin to look at employment, I'll begin to look at all this jackpot syndrome, and then come back. But go out there and begin to speak all the grammar, and begin to say that you are the next best thing to Solomon. They will tell you, my friend, just go sit down there. But go out there and go and do the Palongo dance. You will see people begin to shout, again, the bottom line, does it take us a bit forward? No. For yesterday, for today, for tomorrow, hopefully, when we begin to do the right things, when we begin to plant the right seed, we begin to now then harvest where we should really be going. Nigeria, I still maintain, is not one man, one vote. Where it is going to be one man, one vote, then the prescription that Kachi and my friend is talking about then becomes these people hardly are able to differentiate between what is good for them and their families and what is good for their belly.
Unfortunately, we'll run out of time. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on the program. Dr. Kach Ononuju, who is a political affairs analyst and, of course, a chieftain of the Labour Party. Thank you very much for your time, sir. And Mr. Aki Fatunke, thank you so much for your time as well. Thanks a lot.
God bless you.
All right, that's how much we can take on the program this week. We thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.